morning, good afternoon, good evening. The beginning of the year in January, Blessed Geza started what became known as the Geza Revolution. He came out and denounced Mnangagwa's attempts to try to stay in power beyond 2028, pretending that he is the only man who is going to deliver this Vision 2030, where the country's GDP per capita was supposed to increase by threefold from the present 2,000 US dollars per capita to 6,000 US dollars per capita. Geza started the revolution by coming out right and saying what many people didn't have the guts to say. Tell Mnangagwa to his face that his so-called Vision 2030 was bullshit. Mnangagwa abandoned, at least for the time being, the so-called ED 2030 drive, and was involved in the most aggressive bribing schemes. He had to bribe everybody to stop the Geza runaway train. From the ordinary people, he must have bought millions of Sapatina Sapatina chicken and chips. And he must have spent millions on buying people hampers with food in them or agricultural inputs. And more specifically, to the war veterans, he must have bought hundreds of thousands of bicycles, where most of the war veterans were given the bicycles. Some of them are 60 years plus. And it is ironic that you give somebody a bicycle at that age. But there you are. And then, of course, the more senior war veterans, more influential ones, they got cars. Some even had houses built for them. And then he went on to the top brass in the securocrats. He bought them cars. Zanu PF party officials, they too got cars. Even some of those, like in the Central Committee, would have received cars already by virtue of being ministers or members of parliament. They still got cars. And some of the very lucky few, of course, would have got some of these cash. He spent also millions of dollars in some of these so-called development funds. The truth of the matter is, a year later, most of those people are waking up to the reality that their lives have not changed. Those who got the Sapatina Sapatina chicken, they've already forgotten the taste of it. That's how quickly their bribe disappeared. Those who got the bicycles are waking up to the reality that they expected to ride them in some of Zimbabwe's highways. And needless to say, all these people are realizing they were shortchanged. And so everybody knows that another rebellion is coming. This time, Mnangagwa is ready for the rebellion. He is not going to bribe those people. He is going to use brute force. This is why when you hear people like Passion Java talking about 2026 is going to be a year of violence, that makes sense.
2026 igore rokungangurwa.
Kungangurwa what?
Igore rokusungwa.
Alright.
Yeah, vanhu vachasungwa.
Kusungwa izini kusungwa
kutoiswa mjeri.
Kusungwa nemwechina.
Aya kutoiswa mjeri cha. Amajeri achazara.
Coach chinochitika. Nenye muso dzichaparwa ipapa beka nemuso nyango dzitakapara kudhara titakuchika.
Zvese ingori wave yekusungwa. Vanhu vachangangurwa. Vanhu vachangangurwa, ma-minister, ma-politicians, ma-business people. Hakuna munhu asiri kungangurwa next day.
The truth of the matter is, Mnangagwa knows only too well that the Sapatina chicken, the bribes have failed to cut it. The reality of Zimbabwe being a failed state cannot go away. These people are demanding change. And he can only respond with his most trusted method, use brute force. The people of Zimbabwe don't need to be reminded that here is the man who, even during Mugabe's time, he trusted Mnangagwa to use brute force. Whenever Mugabe wanted brute force to be used, he knew he could count on Mnangagwa to do the dirty work. We all know of the Gukurawundi massacre. Who was at the heart of it? Mnangagwa. We all know who was at the heart of the 2008 electoral coup, Mnangagwa. Here is a reminder of Mnangagwa's role in the 2008 electoral coup.
2008 patakaita ma-elections pakaposa papinda Tsvangirai ndandiri election agent ya-president. Ma-results abuda tiri pa-party headquarters vamutasa vanga vari secretary vedu ve-administration vamutasa muripi yafona ndiri kwarusapi komogwenda kwarusapi seka ma-results achibuda kudai vanga aiwa zvako izvo Mnangagwa ndezvako endaenda kumusha ofisi vanga vabisa zvinhu zvavo zvose watofunga kuti zani yadini yaparara. President ofona zvakamira sei Kata ndo mamira zvakaita takatodini kateda semanje mama ndikati abvunzai baba ntaure navo baba gadzirai polity bureau cabinet musarangarira zvimwe zvinhu gadzirai chi cabinet asi nangoda kuti muzive kuti 2008 maresults abuda vamutasa vakatiza.
As a country we face a generational transition. Vana vesa vari kuma below 35 they are crying out for help. The country is in a mess. We know we are inheriting a mess. We know this country has been left with nothing.
I'm assuring you that starting from tomorrow, you'll see a different nation from what you have seen or read on the news about these results and everything. Where we are going ahead there, the situation will be very different. What we said to our people, they could not see with their own eyes. We are going to act as we see it fit. We are prepared to go the whole distance.
Reality for Zimbabwe is that we now have an immovable object in the form of Zanu PF. Mnangagwa believes that Zanu PF, he and his Zanu PF colleagues have the divine right to rule the country. An immovable object. And on the other end, we've got the irresistible force. As the nation realizes that the nation is sinking deeper and deeper into the abyss, the people are suffering. They are demanding change, real meaningful change. They're demanding hope. So we have got ahead of us the clash of the titans. Mnangagwa's reputation as a ruthless thug is well documented. Here, he has already been reminding the usual suspects, or Zanu PF usual suspects, the opposition, the media, and ordinary Zimbabweans there who dare challenge Zanu PF's authority.
Under my leadership, the media will continue to be our cornerstone for promoting unity, peace, social cohesion, harmony, and the love for our country. Anything besides this, Chibakera Mziso.
In other words, Mnangagwa is prepared to use violence to silence all who will be opponents out there. That is the tough reality. And on the other hand, he himself also cannot deny that his so-called Vision 2030 is a mirage.
Saka iko zvino magetsi avako, there is no more load shedding. Saka vachiona kana munhu akabuya achiti nyama yabora ine madzake, muti ngave naye nenyama yabora tigomupa tsva.
Kasongo yeye. Mumbali nanga. Kasongo mbona wewe songa libala yeah. Kasongo mbona wewe kasongo mbona wewe mbali nanga kasongo mbona wewe songa libala yeah.
So I would like to conclude this talk and reiterate what Passion Java said. Some people have been asking, how does he know that 2026 igore, rokungangurwa, kushambaradzwa, kupurwa? I say to you out there that the writing is on the wall. Zimbabwe's economic meltdown cannot carry on. The people cannot sit and do nothing about it. And so the more they try to resist it, and since Mnangagwa can no longer bribe them, he has got to use violence, and he will use violence. So I totally agree with Passion Java that the future is grim for the nation of Zimbabwe.
2026 igore rekungangurwa.
Kungangurwa what?
Igore rekusungwa.
Alright.
Yeah, vanhu vachasungwa.
Kusungwa isn't kusungwa.
Kutoiswa mjeri.
Kusungwa nemwechina.
Aya kutoiswa mjeri cha. Amajeri achazara.
Coach chinochitika. Nenye muso dzichaparwa ipapa beka nemuso nyango dzitakapara kudhara titakutyaka.
Zvese ingori wave yekusungwa. Vanhu vachangangurwa. Vanhu vachangangurwa, maminister, mapoliticians, mabusiness people. Hakuna munhu asiri kungangurwa next day.
This is what comes of a lawless nation. When there is no rule of law, when those in power feel threatened, don't expect to have any protection from the law. There is no rule of law in Zimbabwe, so there is no protection. Mnangagwa is a man of violence. He has used violence all his life. And as he feels threatened, his position threatened, he will resort to the tried and trusted way of retaining power. He will use violence. This is the reality that the people of Zimbabwe have to deal with. The real tragedy, of course, is that this could all have been avoided if thugs like Mnangagwa accepted the reality that he and his Zanu PF thugs do not have the divine right to rule. The people of Zimbabwe must have a meaningful say in the governance of the country. He is fighting against the tide. Ultimately, the people will have their wish. But at what cost? That is the price the nation is facing. There's no doubt that Mnangagwa is not going to give in. He's not going to go without a fight. He will fight. But the people are not going to give up either. Because ultimately, it is the people who have got to prevail. Dictatorships will always fail. And this Zanu PF Mnangagwa dictatorship is doomed to fail. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.